Ricky Howard here, host of the DoD Contract Academy podcast, where we help small businesses and sales executives sell products, services, technology to the U.S. federal government. So whether you're just starting out or you're expanding your footprint in the public sector, this is the right podcast. I myself am a former government procurement officer. I managed over $82 billion in contracts for the Department of Defense, then went on to start a consulting business where we've advised over 400 companies and small businesses on selling to the government and optimized what they've done. So we've done a lot of work in the government space and we've helped a lot of people, and I know we can help you too. So today what we're going to talk about is one of the fastest ways to sell to the government. I hesitate to even say fast and government contracting in the same sentence because we know that there's a timeline associated with selling to the government, but there are some things that you can do that are going to be faster, and there are some strategies you can implement that are going to show better results, faster results, and you categorize those and prioritize those depending on your business, depending on where you are. So we're going to talk about one of the things I do with companies when we first start working with them, and that is upselling your existing customers. Guys, I don't know how many times I have sat down with a business only to see that they're not following up with their government customers. They're not talking to them. This is basic salesmanship. So in the government space especially, it's a lot easier for the government to put you on contract after you're already on contract with them. So often you'll have a contract with an agency and they just have to modify that. If you've already sold to them, you have past performance with that office. They know who you are. So if you're not talking to them, guys, you are really not doing yourself any favors. Some businesses could 2 or 3 times what they're doing just by looking at the pipeline they've developed over the past couple of years in their sales and reaching out to everyone. So we're going to talk about all of that today. We're going to talk about the referral piece, which it amazes me how some of these businesses are so good at asking for referrals from their commercial customers, their B2B or B2C customers, and they don't ask their government customers for these referrals. And they mean so much more on the government side. Let's talk about that. First, yes, for this to be implemented, you have to have contracts with the government. You have to have past performance. So if you're just getting started, you're right, you're not going to be able to implement this right away, but I would still listen to this because you want to know that when you do win your first couple of contracts, you need to look at those people like they're your best friends. They're not out of your pipeline now. So you've won the contract. A lot of companies, those sales just disappear. They look for the new one. No, they have to go into a brand new pipeline. So everyone that we sell to immediately goes into the customer upsell pipeline. And this goes for federal government contracting especially. Okay, so here's the first thing you're going to do. First thing you want to do if you're a sales exec, you own a business, you want to start looking at the past 3 years of sales. Look at each of the agencies that you've sold to, the products that you've sold to them. How many offices are there? You want to create a pipeline. You can use, we've been talking about the GovClose CRM tool. You can go to dodcontract.com and check that out. But whatever you're using, create a pipeline just for your existing customers, because this pipeline, it's not like a normal pipeline. This is something that you're going to hit each one of them routinely. And you don't want to be a jerk about it. All right. So look, I don't, and you don't want to get an email every hour from someone trying to sell you something. But if the government has bought something from you, it's almost incumbent upon you to reach out to them and get a status check. So this is the first thing you do. Let's say that you have 10 sales over the past 2 years. That's not a lot. It could be 5, whatever it is. Make that pipeline. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to each one of those individuals, meaning who is the program manager, contracting officer. You have a contact that you worked with to win those contracts. So we're reaching out to them. Hey, if it's a software tool or if it's services, hey, I just wanted to check up and see, hey, how are the guys doing over there? How are they performing? Is there anything we could be doing better? So don't be very salesy up front. At first, I would genuinely be reaching out to make sure that they like your product or your service and that it's working out for them. Okay. And can you do anything better? And if there is something that you could do better, do it. Lean forward, help them out. And they're going to remember that. And they're going to know that if there's a problem, that you're the one that's reaching out to them and it is going to help them. Because there are certainly companies where they sell you something and then they're gone. And that's not what we want, especially if it's something that's ongoing. But even if it was just hammers, hey, how'd those hammers work out for you? Do you need more? Oh, one was defective. Can I replace it? Oh, you need X number of tools. Hey, let's talk about that. Let's set up a call. Because this is what's going to happen. If you reach out to 10 people, you might get one or two that, hey, this maybe could improve. That's good for you to know. You want to know if something you're doing can improve. And you're going to get a couple that's just, hey, no, everything's good. Don't really, have anything for you. Okay, that we're going to put them in a different category. And then you're going to get a couple, especially if what you're doing is good. Yeah, since you reached this, literally just happened to me again today. I was just reaching out, hey, just want to make sure that what you're doing, the product that we sold you, just make sure that's going well and everything's going smooth. And the response was, yeah. And by the way, I could use a few more of that product that you sold me. And I'm being a little bit broad here. I'm not telling you specifically what it was here, but the point is that that's going to lead to additional sales, probably twice as much as we sold the first time. This is going to happen for you too. So the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to identify some people that just need more of it now, and that could turn into an immediate, as far as the government's concerned, sale. A lot easier for them to put you on contract. They can put maybe if you're already on contract, they might be able to modify the contract. It might be a additional purchase order that they could put on it, but there's some creative ways the government can get to you, especially if you've already been on contract. So that's the first thing. Who wants to buy now? The next thing is maybe they don't want to buy now, but you have some additional services that they don't know about or that they didn't buy initially. So you can always go in with that. All right, hey, what we sold you, it's working right now. Fantastic. Did you know that we also offered this additional capability and that a lot of our clients are using it and really love it? And we also, maybe we have this software version coming out and it's going to have these features. Maybe we could sit down, we could do a demo. So that's the next step. The next step is once you get past the people that are going to buy now and you're working on the people that are just status quo, it's, well, hey, what about all these other things that we could provide? Can we set up a demo? Now, meetings are what drives sales. So if you can do an in-person meeting, fantastic. Zoom meeting, second best, I would say, right? Phone call, if you can't get a hold of them, give them a call, pick up the phone. See if they will actually talk to you and talk about what you sold to them. They should. This isn't cold outreach. This is reaching out to someone that's actually bought from you, and it's much smoother. And I feel like a lot of salespeople like this process a lot better because you're not disturbing someone's time. They've heard of you. They are using your product. So see if you can get into that demo. So that's the next step. Can I get in a demo? Can I set up a meeting? Let's talk about some of the things that we're offering. Now, you're also going to come across some that may not want a meeting or a demo. Maybe you meet with them and they don't need what you need right now. Maybe they don't want the demo at all. That's fine. But provided that they like your product or service, now you ask for the referral. Hey, got it. You guys are happy. Fantastic. I'll just take a note to check up on you guys in 3 months, whatever that's going to be. But in the meantime, do you know anyone else that could potentially benefit in the government from what we're selling? Because guess what, guys? I was an acquisitions officer. Guess who all my buddies were? Acquisitions officers. So I knew if someone was selling me something, odds are I knew a couple of folks that were buying the same type of thing. So we're working on a program that could use the same technology or service. And if I really liked the product I was using or the company or the people, because it's still relationships. As much as the federal acquisitions regulations tries to prevent any relationship or any unfair or undue influence, we're all people, right? And so if you're leaning forward, trying to help me out, if I'm the government and you're trying to help me out, you're making sure that the product that I've already bought is doing well, yeah, of course I'm going to recommend you. If I know a buddy of mine that's on another base could potentially use your product or service, I'm going to absolutely refer you to them. And now you've got a new lead in your pipeline, right? So that's another way that you can do this. And then say finally, so we've gone through, hey, immediate customers that are going to want to buy now. Okay, it's good timing that you called. We need more of it. Good. That's your first one. Next group of people is, everything's going great. We don't really need any. Set up a demo with them if they're applicable. Hey, do you know what we're selling? Do you know like everything that's in our toolbox that can help you? Do you know about the latest version? No, I don't. Let's set up a demo. Let's show you what we can do. Let's show you what else we can give you capability-wise. That's them. And that could absolutely turn into another sale. Or maybe it's, hey, yeah, that looks good. We're looking at it. How about 6 months from now? We should have some extra funding. Maybe we can do something there. There you go. There's your lead. Then you've got the group where you're asking for the referral. Can you refer us to some other folks? And you might do these all at separate meetings, but you want to have all of this in a pipeline that you're managing. because you don't just meet with them once. If you meet with them once and they don't want to meet, they don't want a demo, or maybe you do the demo, they're not ready to buy, they don't refer you to anyone, all right, follow back up with them in a couple months. Hey, just checking in. How's it going? You're not being too pushy. You have to keep referring back to these people. Unless they tell you, no, hey, we're never buying from you again because we hate your product. You got a different problem now, right? You got a big problem to fix. And then the last group of people that we talked about. Now, this is the customer that, hey, we want to see some improvement. This could be that they just didn't implement it correctly. They need help with something. Maybe you've got a new sales team on it. Maybe you've changed salespeople a few times and they've just given up. You want to engage with that customer. And that might take a little bit more work. You might have to set up a couple meetings to help them really get the full value of what you've been provided. But once you get to the point where they are loving your product, everything's going well, that's where you can start doing what we just talked about, which is upselling them, additional capabilities, referring you to other people. And again, this is a cycle. These are your past clients. They never go away. You're always going to be checking up on them. So that was a real quick and dirty on the fastest way to sell to the government. This is really, we could have called this a few things, how to expand your footprint dramatically. If you're not doing the things that I talked about, just watch, go back, do what we just talked about, and you watch what happens. I guarantee that you're going to see, provided that the government likes the products and solutions that you're selling, if you've got a lot of past sales to the government, you are going to see some results out of this one. I'm really excited. Hey, let me know in the reviews. I look at the reviews like requests. If you want a topic to cover on the podcast or YouTube, just put it in the comments. Hey, Rick, I want to see this topic covered. Or, Rick, I had these great results based on a strategy that you and the team talked about, or maybe from an interview we did with one of our clients. Let us know there. We'd love to hear those stories. And we're always looking for new topics to talk about on these podcasts. So thanks again for listening this week, and we will see you next time. And hey guys, if you haven't already, head on over to dodcontract.com. We have an amazing program for companies of all sizes, small businesses, sales executives, companies that have been doing this for a while but have a sales team they want to put a better process in place. Going over to dodcontract.com, we have a great program where we will take you, if you're just starting out, provide you with all of the training you need and the coaching, the one-on-one coaching you need to get your business up and running, start selling to the government. If you're trying to optimize what you're doing or get a sales team that you're just hitting a brick wall, you're not expanding year over year, it probably has to do with your system and your strategy. We have a system that we just put together called GovClose. It's a CRM, it's a sales tool, it's a pipelining tool, but it's also incorporated with all of the strategies and the sales techniques that we talk about on this podcast. It's really a great system. And if you're interested in that, again, you can hit that through dodcontract.com and we'll set up a demo for you, walk through the entire system. I know that you'll see a lot of value out of that. And we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.